So this week we're going to look at the HUD class and less slides in this case. We're basically going to go more hands-on. So basically, I'm just jump right in when we get to demonstrating things. I'm going to just jump right in and just show you, hey, here's the HUD class. Here how you create it. Here how you use it. Here how you set things up. Going forward, you should be using the HUD class as opposed to using the level blueprint. So we'll explain reasons when we get there. But basically, I've got and one of the things we're going to do is the HUD is going to control everything. So we'll show how to rewrite your code so that you're accessing these three functions are going to basically do what you did before. But now we'll show how the managers can get access to them. You're going to duplicate the menu level and the title screen and the about screen widgets. So just to give you a heads up there. And then you have an exercise document. Let me grab that. But basically, you're going to create an AI blueprint based on the third-person character blueprint, and it'll basically move towards the player. So it'll be BPAI for our purposes. So back. So we get some slides. So blueprints in action. You've had this already. Yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, you don't need this. You've already had this slide. Move on. The big one is going to be the AI move to function. And then how to execute a console command in Blueprint. We'll talk about what those are in a second. It will show you how to identify an actor by a tag. Don't use the tag system unless you really, really have to. It's better in Unreal, but still it's not. Yeah, it's my bias towards that type of system. You can apply, again, we've got apply damage to an actor. We'll go over that quickly. So map range. So basically you can put in a value. Minimum value of the input range, maximum value, minimum value of the output value. So there's multiple ways you can control it clamped. So current ammo, max ammo. I'm not sure why they're using the clamp range, unless they're using a lot of zeros here. Moving on. Actor as tag. Hooray. Tags. You can give it a tag. In this case, they gave it a special item. You can ask, is this item tagged as a special item? More of a level designer tool than it is, I would say, in terms of programming. Yeah, think of this more to allow your level designers to do stuff. Again, an actor has tag, other actor. Does that have tag? Again, special item, you can branch it off. And then you can set the health. Again, this is yeah, you wouldn't build this way. I'll just say this. So this is like you've overlapped with an item that is special item, and it gives you health, gives you shields. Again, this is showing the tag system, but not necessarily how you'd use the tag system per se. Apply damage. We saw this already. In fact, we saw that in your last assignment. So again, apply damage. Who's the damage actor? How much damage is going to take? Who's the player causing it, the item causing it, and the damage class. So without a class and without a damage value, you're not going to actually do anything. You know, Unreal basically says, "Oh, no damage are being applied," so it doesn't actually apply damage. And then event damage is on the other side. So this is you applying damage to someone. This is the other item taking damage. Again, event hit, apply damage, destroy actor. So here's your projectile in a nutshell. Again, any damage. Again, it's taking health, subtracting and applying it. Again, I'd throw this into a process damage function to make your life easier. And ultimately, you want to, because if you get into bigger and larger games, then how you process damage is going to determine on a slew of different things. Properties of the damage, for example, will come into play. You can get overlapping actors. So this is the target is the actor that or the component that will be used in the overlapping test. So if you wanted a collision component to be that area of the overlapping actors, hooray! The other side of this is that the class filters, you can filter on what type of class. So you could ask for all the actors. You could ask for just pawns. You could ask for particular types of actors. So you can write this code to work with a specific set of actors. So it's part of a set. And then overlapping actors comes out as an array. Here again, timer damage. It didn't select a class here, but I would assume pawns. So every time this event gets ticked, it's going through the for each, and it's damaging the actors by 10. Again, they've hard coded this, so ideally you would put in you create a variable for this and plug that in, and make that variable ideally it would be instance editable, so you could then modify the damage as you see fit. Agile component. This should be pretty straightforward. I could go right here. They have a weapons transform. Keep moving on. Spawn emitter attach. So this is you can attach like an emitter to your to an actor effectively. So what is the emitter template attached to which component? Attached to point name. So there is sockets you can use. Again, location, rotation relative to it. Keep relative offset, and then auto destroy if you something like fire or I got hit with a bullet. And here's an event hit. So here's the other component that got hit. They're attaching the P fire, and then what are you doing? So again, this is another like a projectile type scenario. So on hit, the projectile is putting a fire emitter, and then it's applying and then destroying the actor. So so basically the projectile hits, leaves this actor behind. And move 2. This is going to be pretty straightforward. Again, pawn. Who to move to? The destination, that would be the pawn. Sorry, the pawn is who is going to move. And that's going to be self because it's going to be in the Blueprint AI class. Destination would be to the target actor. Acceptance rates. How close do you need to be within range? And then stop on overlap. Do click this. And then you'll see normal Blueprint actions on success, on failure. So if something were to happen, this would get put out. And then this is an instruct movement result, like what is happening on each time this goes out. We'll look at that when we get into the game. And here is ePath follow result. It was success. Was it blocked? Is it off path? Is it aborted? Is it somehow invalid? So here's the switch. So we don't have to show that again because the next slide gives that for me. So go to next point. Again, the target itself. Here is next point. So if you guys wanted to build like a path runner using this AI system, you could. And here they're using a macro, just another version of a function. It's only internal to the class, but I probably would have written it as a function, to be quite honest. But here is on sess, it's going to find next point, and then it calls go to next point, which is this event right here. So basically when it gets to the point, it finds its next point in, again, what we would assume be an array, and then it goes off to the next point. So we will use this this structure right here we'll use to our advantage when we get into game. Execute console command. So once upon a time, well, you still can. You can hit the tilde key. It'll bring down you a command console, and you can type in commands. And most of the time, this is locked off to most players these days, but you can. There's ways to activate it. And this is their. I'm trying to think. What are they going to do? So in this case, they're using the command restart level. So on death, they're basically, again, restarting the level. Complete list of console commands. Open the output log window, Windows Developer Tools, output log, and enter dump console commands. Have fun. You'll see tons and tons of console commands, because this is how we used to work with the engine back in the day. Yeah, this is how you could adjust parameters. So there's like default game INI parameters that still exist, and this is one way you could go at those parameters to change things. Competitive gamers will go after these console commands because they'll set up their how they like the HUD and the crosshairs and other things as they see fit. Using those console commands. So why they're there, the legacy, you should know about it. Yeah, so let's jump into game. I'll pull these over here. Good. Okay, I'm going to make a new folder. And I'm going to move this out. There, move here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to grab the game. I'm going to go, let's make our duplicate. So I'm going to file, save, current level as, and I'm going to go to lab 7. And this will be the V2. The lab 606 game mode, I'm actually like, come on. And I'm going to make a copy there. And I'm going to rename this to V2. So you'll need the game mode as well. About and title. Need those. Anything else I need? Won't need the pawn. Yeah. Okay. So let's go in. So the first thing I'm going to, again, I'm just going to rename these. About screen V2. Title screen V2. And then the last thing I'm going to need is a new blueprint class, which is going to be a type HUD. So you can just type in HUD, and that is the class we'll create. And we'll call this lab 06 HUD. All right. So let's save everything. Now let's go to our game mode. And the one thing I'm going to change here is down on the HUD, my Lab 6 HUD. So we're going to run, it's going to use that class when this level runs. All player controllers will use this HUD class. And then we still want the spectator pawn. And I think that's all. Yeah, default class. Did I picked the wrong, oops. I picked the wrong game mode. Here's the menu game mode. Come on. File, close. Why is that? Copy here. Okay, game mode. This is the game mode we wanted. HUD again, 06, and then we wanted spectator pawn as our default pawn class because we don't want the player spawning in with the it's the character model. All right. We can close that. The map. Actually, wow, I've done this. Here's the menu. Rename. My apologies. All right. So what do I don't need? Let's open up the menu. Don't worry about this. I've selected. Save everything. Game mode. Yeah, these two I don't need. Okay. All right. So let's just go over what you needed to create the HUD class. You need the menu. You need the menu game mode. The about screen and the title screen need to be copied over. All right. So in the game mode, again, just go over. We need to set the HUD class to the Lab 606 HUD, and then the default pawn remains spectator pawn. And I need to compile. There we go. In our map, we need to go to the game mode override. And I can go to the content draw. And I need to rename this the V2. Okay. There we go. So there's the game mode that we wanted. So now automatically you can see spectator pawn HUD class are set here. So if we go, so right now if we press play, you can see that things are popping up. And the reason for that is that, and this is one of the things you'll need to do, is you'll need to go to the level blueprint. And you can see that everything's still here. To make our lives easier, I'm going to grab everything here. I'm literally going to cut it. I'm going to delete these. And I'll compile. And then now we'll go back to, I can close it just directly. We'll press play. And so nothing's happening. That's what we want. So let's go to the HUD class. Now, the reason I copied it is because in theory, we can go to the event graph. Literally, I can delete these. I can paste in the nodes that I wanted. Now, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna hit compile. And we're gonna see a whole bunch of things. It's gonna yell about through different things. So first thing, we are setting the mouse cursor. So again, we're using the event begin play, just like the level graph. In this case, again, we are gonna set up the title screen, and we are gonna go and we're gonna create two variables. These are going to be user widget. And this will be title screen. And I'll create another one that will be the about screen. So let's start with this. The second chain here. Again, the player. In this case, is going to be UMG title screen version 2. And then we are going to remove that. It'll be the new title screen variable. And we'll plug that in right here. Now it's going to remain an error here until we recompile. So don't worry. This is like, don't think like Visual Studio. Like it won't go. This will go away when we hit recompile again. In fact, if I hit recompile, you see that it will go away. In this case, we can delete the about screen here, and we can get the set in. And again, I'm going to use UMG about screen version 2. Now, the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to grab the viewport, and I'm going to attach it to the viewport. So for our purposes, I'm not going to be playing with detach, reattach. You can do that in your version, but for this, I'm just going to go right ahead and be like, hey, I'm just going to attach them both to the viewport. And basically just continue. I am going to take these out because the widgets, when we go back into the widgets, we're going to take these variables out. All right. So the one thing and I'm going to compile. So now that I've got this in place, I'm now setting this up to where I'm attaching everything. And we go back to put this right here, press play. You can see that both of them are appearing on screen. We'll manage that in one moment. All right, so let's go to the content. Let's go back to our event. So I'm going to create 3 functions. The first one's going to be start game. And this is, I'm going to do it right here. Open level by object reference. And this is going to be the 06 game. The next function I'm going to create is to show title screen. And this is going to be straightforward. I'm going to grab a reference to the title screen and set visibility. There we go. So in this case, my visibility is going to be visible. I am just going to literally just copy and paste that node. Get a reference to the about screen, plug that in here, and I can just set this to hidden. Get these in a line. This will make more sense in a moment. So with this right here, I mean, I've got basically the next function is going to be show about screen. This will be hidden. This will be visible. So I'm just going to copy these nodes. I'm going to create my new function. Show about screen. I'll plug these in. And then I'll again set this to hidden, set this to visible. Again, same, and we'll compile. All right, I'm going to close these functions because I don't need these to open anymore. I'm just going to go to the event graph. The last thing here, I'm going to grab show title screen and plug that into 3. So that's the last thing I want to do is basically set it up so the title screen is showing. And if we compile, again, now we've got the title screen. I'll go back one more, just make one more, just for the sake of argument. This is a quick game. Just so that we have that here for that, because I have the button. So extra, not part of your assignment, but a good to know that you can set this up. Again, we've seen this already, so not a big deal. All right. The next thing is we now need to go into the widgets, and I'm going to go to the About widget first and go to its graph. And basically all we need to do is change up what's going on here. So what we can do is get player controller and ask for get the HUD. Now, this is going to come in as a HUD reference. So the first thing we're going to do is going to do a cast2. Hello. Lab 606 HUD. So we'll cast. So we get to our actual HUD class. And now with as Lab 60 HUD, this is what we want to do is show title screen. In fact, these three nodes basically we're going to copy and paste over and over because they're basically going to give us our HUD. So compile, and I'm just going to copy these. Make sure I save everything. I can close the about screen now because we're done with it. Let's jump back to the title screen. Again, we'll jump to its graph because everything's set up. I'm just going to delete these just to get them out of the way. And I'm literally going to do, and I could have left the exit button this way. I'm just going to choose not to in our case. So we'll just delete all of these guys. I'll start with button. It's not going to let me paste it. All right. So again, get player controller, get HUD, cast to Lab 60 HUD, connect it, and again, this is the on the button exit, so this is going to be the quick game. That's what I was. And I'm just going to grab these three nodes. And this is the about, so this is going to be show about screen. And then I can move you up a little bit. And here is going to be the start game function. And here we go. And now that I can actually go back, I can delete this variable because we're not using it. Compile. Let's actually go back and just for the sake of clean the about screen. Again, go to the graph. Here's the title screen and we don't need this anymore. So we've written this so that these widgets are using the HUD as opposed to referencing the other widgets themselves and trying to manage the widgets themselves. So this is the only thing right here that's a little, we had to cast, but once we did that, we had access to the functions we read in the HUD. So the HUD is what's managing the screen. And that's the purpose of that HUD class, is that it's going to be managing the screen, managing the HUDs that are on screen. You will have multiple HUDs. You'll have HUDs for the game scenarios. You'll have HUDs for different, for the main menu. Again, this is the main menu, but like later on, we'll make a HUD, and I think we'll do that with the next lab. There should be a HUD that we should be able to make. that we'll be able to manage. We'll add a feature to, we'll add a HUD for a game scenario. So this is pretty straightforward. It's about, again, the big thing here is this HUD class is managing the widgets. So it has these two variables, which you had before, but the widgets don't have other variables that they need to reference to other classes. We are managing basically what we're doing. The main menu is all being held, and we're considering the title screen and the about screen as part of the main menu. We got these functions right here, which we're calling to do different things. And this is a better way to structure what you're doing. We can save everything. We can go back, press play, and you can see I can click exit. It will stop. Hooray. The about, here's the back, and here's start game. So extra credit for the game HUD. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Yeah. All right. So extra credit. Go back and make a new game, like a game map v2, and make a HUD class for that, and a widget that shows up. So when the player's dead, a widget shows up on the screen that has a button that allows the player, again, bring out the mouse, and allow them to click a button to return back to the main menu. Either restart the level, or either A, restart the level, or B, return back to the main menu. So that definitely extra credit. So that if you're looking to do more, there you go. All right, let's close these because we don't need them. And you need to. And I closed Unreal. Oops. Give me a second while I reset. So the next thing is that we're going to set up the blueprint that's going to run around. I am going to basically take open level. In fact, I'm just going to take this right here. File, save, current map level as. All right. So I'm just gonna use this scene for our purposes, and I'm gonna go. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna go to my third person into blueprints. I'm gonna take the third person character, and I'm gonna make a copy there. And this is going to be the BP AI that we talked about. All right. I'm gonna jump in. And just tag that right here. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab everything in here. So this is all of the movement code, receive controller change, AI look, thumbstick, mouse look, primary thumbstick, IA move. This is all movement code. But it's all player related stuff. We're just gonna delete this. You don't need anything, because we're going to control this via that AI mode. So, I am going to create a new event. Add event, add custom event. And this is going to be move to player. All right, so this is going to be, so basically every time we want to have the AI move to the player, we're going to call this event. And literally, this is going to be begin, play, move to player. So automatically we're going to call this event. This event will call itself at the end. So when we're done, it will. There is going to be one variable that I want to put in right now. It's going to be reset delay. This is going to be a float because it's seconds. So this is going, and I'm going to just compile, and I'm just going to say the reset delay is going to be 5. So basically what I'm saying, and I'll make this instance editable just to make on the sake, so that we can play with it. So basically when we hit the player, this is how many seconds we're going to delay before we call move player again. Move player, it's going to be pretty straightforward. It is going to be AI why is it not showing me? AI move. There we go. There we go. Okay, so what is the pawn? This is going to be self. Now, we could do a target destination, or we can use target actor. And this is, again, we can get player pawn. So basically what this is doing is it's asking which player controller, and then automatically saying what pawn is it controlling. So this is again, utility function that we have for our benefit, and we'll plug that into target actor, and then we'll click on stop on overlap. I'm going to compile. I am going to go to the viewport, just so that, so here is, hooray, our character. I am going to go to my content draw. Do I have? I don't. That's interesting. I need to add import feature to current pack. I don't have the starter content for some reason. There we go. I don't need that. There we go. And materials. And let's give, so we know this is not us. I'm just going to make it gold. There you go. So, heck, we'll have fun. All right, so I just want to just texture the model differently, so I gave him rust and gold just to play with that. So we can go, now we can save that. So we're not done with that just yet, but we can now, here's the thing, is that AI can now drop into the world. All right. And we go press play, you think it's gonna do, and it's behind us, and they're not moving. So let's do us a favor and grab them. And they have a camera attached to them. Let's go back to, and then we'll rotate them around. All right. So what's going on right now is that the AI, I mean, they're in the world. The function did get called, but the AI doesn't know where it needs to move and what it needs. It's called a nav mesh bounds volume to the level. So let's go and be under volumes. And where is it? There you go. It's the top. Nav. Yeah. Here's nav mesh bounds volume. And now let's get this at 000 to start. All right. Here's the thing about the nav mesh volume. It needs to be in the floor. Like if you have it on the floor, it won't consider the floor part of the. It won't consider it part of it. It has to include it. So in this case, I'm just going to. I'm going to play with the bounds. No, I'm just do scale. So I'll do 100. I'll do 50. That's probably more than I need. 50, and I'll do like 5. I can probably move this up. So I'll do 400. Let's see. There we go. So you can get better. There we go. So right now it is sitting in the floor. You see, let's look at 500. Yeah. So here is it at 500. Now see if this works. Press play. Yeah. So nav mesh needs to be rebuilt. And I'm going to drop this down to 400. And there we go. So now the problem is he did. Let's go back. Let's go to the AI. So what on success, we're just going to print found player. And then we will compile, save everything, and then we'll press play. And then you can see it found the player, but it's not. So now we need to go back to the AI. This is a call move the player again. And you can see it's like found player, found player. It's doing that all right away. So this is where the delay is going to come into play. So it'd be after we print the screen. We're going to use literally a delay, and there's a duration. Again, reset delay. Plug that in. And again, what we'll do right here, just so we know, do a print. Save everything. So you can see, you'll see when we again get player, found player. So now you can see that the call is being, so there's a delay after found player. And that gives us, a chance to like, hey, do stuff and have the player. Now, he is going through that trigger, but he's not taking any damage because he doesn't have any mechanism for him to there's no mechanism for the AI to basically take damage. If you want to extra credit here, enable the bot to take damage as well. That's a go implement that side. Give it a health, let it take damage, let it process damage like the player does. And that would be, hey, if it took damage, it doesn't repeat. Like when call player gets called, that doesn't activate if it's dead. So so this is what we're looking for in terms of our AI. Any questions about what we need to do? Anything that anyone would like to say, hey, how would I do X or Y? Again, lots of extra credit in this assignment. And it's I'm recommending that you go for it, to be quite honest. Do when the player is dead, have bring up you but also turn off the movement. I mean, let's go back to let's stop for one moment. Let's go to lap 6 because here's the pawn. So this is all the work that we did, but here is, hey, jump. If it started to complete, started completed. Have so so I can put in a reroute node. I'll attach to there and then there, and then up here would attach to that one. And then we can make a reroute node. And attach that one there. So now we've got them joining here. That will make it easier to say, hey, if we pull this out, we can then say if, and where's our variable? There you go, game is live. Make this bigger. Again, I can grab these two, copy them. So now again, if I'm not alive, then I can't jump. Let's compile. Let's go into game. So you can see right now, I can jump. Let's go through the trigger. I'll go through. Now I can't jump. So, hey, turn off. If you're not alive, turn off movement. If you're not alive, then turn on. The HUD would turn on that module. Turn on the mouse because we've turned off movement. Then we can go back and we can be like, oh, we can use the mouse freely without worrying about anything else. So that's the key piece to that, is that you will have to go back and go and turn off movement in the player. But we have is not alive. We know that we're not in a scenario that the player is, this is they're in their dead state. Thinking about states of a character, I mean, like normal gameplay would be one. Dead is another one. So this is typically you'd like in Unreal Tournament, like this would be you've no longer controlling the player, and the player that model has gone into a ragdoll mode. Then they have a mode where it dereses from the world and then deletes. Then the last state is to delete itself from the world, effectively. And that's Unreal Tournament in a nutshell. Like, this is the 4 states of the player. It gets spawned in, it's attached. There's one other state. It would be it's not controlled, but is attached to a vehicle, and the vehicle is telling that model to like the hands are connected to a wheel, and the so it's telling the model to rotate its hands with the wheel, respectively. So. Any questions about what this lab is asking you to do, what you need to do? All right, I'm going to end the recording right here.